Okay, good morning everybody. It's Filippo Giglio speaking from Alesco, from the local energy agency of the province of Cosenza, which is the coordinator of the GreenS project. So this morning the issue will be, the focus will be on GPP, as you know, about the implementation of GPP, its challenges and solutions. We give a short presentation of our project first, and the agenda foresees the intervention of other partners of the project. So, after a short presentation, an overview of the project, I give the floor to Stefan Zor from local energy agency Pomoria from Slovenia, who will give us a presentation on a work package on some activities of the project, in particular on some institutional needs on GPP and good and bad practices developed at EU level in the 7 EU countries of the project. So after his presentation, we go to experiences, good practices, and the challenges for the implementation of national GPP strategy of Cyprus, and Savas Vlachos from the Cyprus Energy Agency will give us a focus on this issue, on these activities, and then we follow with a presentation provided by Mrs. Jana Simanowska from the Latvian Environmental Investment Fund. She will give us a presentation about biomass and building renovation GPP in Latvia. After this, we're on to with the final part of the webinar, where we hope that you have some questions and to give you some answers about any question, about any doubt, about any curiosity about GPP. So we plan to finish in about 2 hours, please, regarding questions, leave it for the end of the presentations, and so we can discuss about everything, about what we read in the webinar. So I would start with the general presentation of the project. So to give you an overview of our main activities, I mean developed activities till now and planned activities for the ongoing of the project. So GreenS, it's a European project in the framework of the Horizon 2020. And it's about, of course, innovation on green public procurement. The proposal was approved by about 1 year ago, so well, on June 2015, and the project will last for about 36 months. Not about, will last 36 months. The coordinator is Alesco, the local energy agency of the province of Cosenza, southern part of Italy, Calabria region. And we are a consortium of 14 partners. So the idea was to involve in the project 14 partners and 14 partners, energy agencies and public bodies. Then we'll see the reason for involving this kind of subjects. In few words, the project aims at strengthen the capacity of public authorities to successfully apply GPP. Because the idea came out from the need that in all involved countries, apart some countries like Germany or Sweden, where there is a more where there's a high level of knowledge and implementation of GPP policies. In the other countries, Slovenia, Italy, Spain, Latvia, well, the idea was to start from a basic level of knowledge of GPP. So because we realized that the level of knowledge and of implementation of GPP policy was quite at the beginning. So which are the main target groups and key actors of the project? Municipalities, local authorities, regional authorities, green goods suppliers and producers, energy agencies. These are the main target groups and key actors involved in the project. The project, first of all, aims at creating inside the energy agencies, with the support of the public bodies, regional or local governments, to give support at local level, to give support at municipal level above all, and technical assistance on GPP. Because now the framework at the European level is changing. The European Union boosts an higher application of GPP, of green public procurements. But it's needed a support, because public procurers, mostly municipalities, they don't have knowledge, they don't have basic knowledge to implement GPP policies. So the idea was to create a sort of more or less on the basis of what happened with the Covenant of Mayors, where for the development of the CIEPs, this planning, this energy planning tools to help municipalities to provide energy policies at local level. On the basis of this experience, the idea was to create a sort of similar support at local level on GPP. So the GreenS, by training activities of experts, of energy experts inside the energy agencies, with the cooperation of local and regional authorities, aim at creating a sort of technical assistance, a sort of support at local level on a GPP. So, which are the other important objectives of the project, of GreenS project. First of all, the idea was to have an overview of what is in each participating country the existing good and bad practices on GPP, because we started from an analysis to better understand which is the frame at European level on GPP, and on this issue Stefan Zohar from Slovenia will better explain which has been the result of the analysis of this of what has been done at the European level on GPP. Then this analysis was also provided by the analysis of the SIAPs in each participating countries. By the SIAPs analysis, the consortium has found where local authorities need support for green products and services. So this is another important objective of the project. Another important and fundamental objective of the project, as I said before, was the creation, the establishment of so-called GPPs, Green Public Procurement Supporters, inside the energy agencies, to give at local level technical assistance and support on GPP. So it has been established in 7 countries, 7 units to give support on GPP. The project also aims at giving support on GPP instruments and tools. Inside the project, we also created and we experiment new tools and instruments, new innovative tools on GPP. So it means new, for example, new templates with technical terms on GPP. This means that by a database for municipalities, for example, and public procurers in general, we'll have the opportunity to have more innovative tools for public tenders. Another important point of the project was setting up and supporting sustainable training programs and finding long-term solutions on GPP training, because we realized that it's a lack of training in public procurers. So we involved in the project ICLE, which is a very skilled subject in the project, which will give important support on training on GPP. So another important point of the project will be the implementation of 21 pilot projects inside the 21 pilot projects inside the public bodies. It means that we'll analyze and we'll experiment the entire process for implementing a green public procurement action, to implement a tender, and focusing on all its phases to implement the green public. So I would move to the slide number 4, where there are the major outputs and outcomes of the project. So 10 practices bad and good on GPP in each country have been done already. 15 CFs in each participating country have been analyzed. 7 GPPs have been established inside the 7 countries in the project. We also developed the strategies on how to let GPPs work, on how GPPs will implement their action. Another important focus is on the database. We create a database with 21 templates of technical terms. So another important output is an online catalog listing GPP producers. At least. Hello? Please turn off your microphone, please. Thank you. And we also develop an online catalog listing GPP producers. This is another important output of the project. Training material, as I said before, where you can find it on our website, which is greensproject.eu, our website. We also developed 3 new energy product categories, and of course inside the energy agencies we'll have 14 trained experts. So I go quick to the other outputs of the project because the time is running. So what is important is that, for example, another important I would move to the slide 7. Because this is a general overview of what are the main barriers and solutions provided by the project. So we started from the need that public authorities need support, to develop GPP strategies and policies. So this is a starting point, and the project aims at overcoming this barrier. So there is a lack of knowledge, of awareness on GPP practices, above all at local public authorities in general have this kind of lack. So thanks to GPP units inside the energy agencies, will provide full set of services, long-term support and technical assistance to public authorities on GPP and CFS implementation.
Filippo, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Can you also move the slides on the screen, please?
Sorry, do you want me?
Could you please move to the slide number 7 on the screen, please? As we can see only the second slide.
But why can't you see the slide?
We can see only the second slide from 11, and you are now talking about the 7, correct?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Could you switch to the 7?
Yeah, I see the 7. I can see the slide number 7.
Okay, so I'll take your presentation. And I'll move to the slide number 7.
What about now? Can you see the number 7?
Just a moment. Can you move now to the 8?
Yes. Now can you see number 8?
No. can you please upload once again your presentation?
Because, look, maybe now...
Now we can see the number 7. Thank you.
Okay. So, well, as I said before, well, we already talked about the first point, okay? The first part of the presentation. So let's go to the second. Another barrier to overcome was when we wrote the proposal was that there was the lack of dialogue and actions and multi-level cooperation among different actors at national, regional, and local level in GPP. So we planned in the project, and when we already started with this activity, to create a sort of steering committees among the national, regional, local authorities and GPP stakeholders to boost their cooperation with GPP, to overcome legal uncertainties and procedures, categories, products and services quality criteria. Because above all in Italy, but it's the same frame more or less in all the involved countries, there is a lack of dialogue, of cooperation between the ministry, for example, the region and the municipalities on GPP. So through this action, through the involvement of different levels of politicians, the aim is to create more dialogue, more to cooperate, to discuss about actions, about legal aspects on GPP. So we are implementing now in all countries these round tables with the main actors, the main stakeholders on GPP to improve policies at national and local level on GPP. Another important point of our project and another barrier to overcome was the lack of innovative instruments and tools on GPP. To give an answer on this, the project GreenS foresees a database with at least 21 templates of technical terms for purchase green energy products and services. We also create an online catalog, as I said before, with producers of green goods and services. Last point was the lack of training in public bodies. So in the project we foresee the training for the experts inside the energy agencies, to give training sessions, to provide training sessions for at local level for procurers. So as I said before, well, you can find also here other outputs and other goals of the project, but more or less the core of the project are those I mentioned before. So what is important, I'm on the slide number 10, it's that the project is quite ambitious. We plan to provide the experimentation of 21 pilot projects to save energy at least 2 gigawatt per year, and GPP share on regional, local and municipality administration on public procurement 10% every year after the project's end. So, which are the assumptions and factors? The energy production by the project, 1 megawatt installed in the pilot experimentation projects. Investment for each pilot experimentation of 150,000 euros. So, these are the main. I would like to talk more about the project. There are many issues and many points to develop and to discuss about, but I'm already over timing. So let's move. Let's discuss about the project. If you have any questions, let's discuss about it at the end of the presentation. So, if you don't mind, I give the floor to Stefan from local energy agency Pomoria from Slovenia, who will give a presentation on institutional needs on GPP and good and bad practices at EU level, which is one of the main outputs of the project.
Okay, thank you. Hope you hear me all and see my presentations. This was our boss, our big boss in the GreenS project. So thank you, Filippo, for this detailed information about the project. Let me introduce myself. I'm Stefan Johar, working at the local energy agency Pomoria. And we are partners we are proud to be partners in the GreenS project. I'm active now for about 8 years in the field of energy efficiency and renewables. And let me, in exactly 4 minutes, just describe our organization, because it's also linked to the work and the content in the GreenS project. For those ones who don't know where Pomoria region is, just a quick fact. We are on the northeastern part of Slovenia. Our neighbors are in North Austria, in eastern Hungary, and in South Croatia. We have around 130,000 inhabitants, split into 28 municipalities. We have around 40,000 households, 5,000 small and medium enterprises. Unfortunately, we are the less developed region in Slovenia. As you see on the pictures below, we have a lot of rural areas, so a lot of agriculture activities. We have lots of immigration of young people and low education structure. But we are trying also with this project to change some of these facts. About the establishment of our institution goes back to March 2005 with help of Intelligent Energy Europe. We were established as an institution for promotion of sustainable energy development, and we are active locally, regionally, and transnationally. Our mission is, of course, to contribute as a local energy agency to sustainable development of the region in the field of renewables and energy efficiency, and the vision is to be leading actor in these two fields. Our work is, of course, connected to lower the energy consumptions, the exploitation of renewables, and it is because also in our region we have lots of potential, especially geothermal potential and biomass, and this is why I'm interested about my next presenter, Ms. Jana Simovska, who will hopefully show us some good examples in the field of biomass exploitation. So these 2 points are, of course, connected to the less CO2 emissions and, of course, a quality programming system. In Slovenia, we create also in 2012 a national consortium of energy agencies. So each region now in Slovenia have their own energy agency. Other references of our institution, I will just mention one of this, because afterwards I think you will get also this presentation. Just one link to the GreenS project. We are from 2014, as one of the first energy agencies in Europe, became a covenant supporter. Other references, we are a lot working with energy concepts for local authorities. We are preparing sustainable energy action plans. For example, we translated also the guidebook how to develop a sustainable energy action plan to Slovenian language for the first time, and lots of other activities. Here you see some projects. I will not go deeply to each one. You see lots of cross-border project linked to the MET program, to Alpine Space program, to Intelligent Energy Europe program, and also to Horizon program, in which is financed also the GreenS project. Also in other projects we were indirectly involved, and here we see the logos of them. All mentioned past activities, experiences, projects helped us by preparation and implementation of the work packages that I will present you in the frame of the GreenS project. As Vita said on the beginning, and also Filippo mentioned it for the question and comments linked to also my presentation, please read it down and we will answer it after the presentations. So, we as a lead partner from work package 2, we carried out this work package, and it's called Institutional Needs on GPP and Good and Bad Practices. Additionally to the presentation from Filippo, I will show you just this one slide, what explains generally the project. You see on this slide that work package 2 is linked to all other following work packages. So it's more or less the basis for the further work in this project. The background of work package 2 is of course strictly linked to the overall objective of the project, but the aim of this work package 2 is to gather information regarding the good and the bad methods and the policies for GPP implementation, market uptake, legal frameworks undertaken at EU level, and to analyze the results in order to identify the most innovative and efficient cases. But on the other hand, we wanted to collect and highlight also practices with bad and inefficient results. Each partner identified the practices on GPP concerning the purchase of energy efficient products and services by institutional bodies at national and local level. So this action has given us an overview on the process and methodology implemented by procurers in each country to purchase green goods and services. In addition, through the analysis of at least 15 SEAPs, mentioned also by Filippo previously, in each partner country, the partners find where and how the local authorities need support for green products and services. And when I will talk about green products and services in this presentation, I will mean, of course, to energy-related products and services. And here are the work package tasks. Work package coordination was, like I mentioned also before, carried out by our organization, and then started the bigger work, the gathering information of good and bad practices by the public procurers, of course. Then afterwards we started the comparative analysis of these informations, and on the end, identification analysis of local regional authorities' needs. On the end, we will have also the monitoring and the evaluation program. This task includes 7 deliverables that you see on this slide, and which I will present you step by step. But these 5 documents, results, what you see on the slide of the first you I think will be interesting also for you. As you see, first of all, of course, when we wanted to recording the process, we had to have a quality methodology, and based on the methodology, we had to prepare a template for the questionnaires. And then started the inventory recording process. Then we prepared an expanded list of good and bad practices, split to each involved country. Then the most important part, the comparative analysis of different GPP practices, and on the end, the summary report on the needs. This document is around 50 to 100 sites long, so welcome also on our web page. You see the link on the right side, and this is a print screen about our project website. And if you click in chapter of findings, you will see below listed up the documents which I'm going to present to you, of course, in shorter version. So step by step. First of all, as I said, we had to have a methodology for the questionnaires. The questionnaires were prepared by Alenka Burja, who is a leading expert in Slovenia in the field of green public procurements in general. And we split the questionnaires in two parts, as you see. The first questionnaire, called Q1, were related to public procurers. It's designed in order to collect data on the procurer behavior of public authorities in this included 8 countries. And the second questionnaire weighed up broadly the institutional policy system of the green public procurements in the country and assess in length the conventional national support activities in each country. This questionnaire is addressed to national partners, so the partners in the project, and it had to have carried out just once. When we had these questionnaires online, we had an online tool for these questionnaires. We started to motivate public procurers to take part in the questionnaires and started to prepare the new document called Inventory Recording Process. Here you see the content of this document. The comparative analysis of surveys results should fully reveal green public procurement practices and processes in GreenS countries. Method that was used for this comparison was set of indicators that are following all 4 sections of both questionnaires and are basically covering most of the answers. Marking each indicator with corresponding answers from survey clearly pointed out the main strengths and the weaknesses in the countries involved and the manners and approaches of the GPP implementation. But however, some additional individual qualitative assessment had been needed as well, which was employed by giving grades to certain indicators. In this way, the good and the weaker, we should talk about weaker, is a better word, not bad practices. So in this way, the good and the weaker practices of GPP implementation could be portrayed for each country individually. On the end, the results have been evaluated and presented in total value, stored for the countries together in graphical and in table form. It also has to be noted that analysis of results does not serve at all for comparison of actions between different countries, but rather show how these countries are performing with GPP implementation. So after the collection of the information, we had on the end, as you see, 140 questionnaires. Our project target was 80 in, of course, 8 countries. The target was 10 per each country, and we reached number 14 in average per country, which is a good result. Easier work was with the second, related to national partners questionnaire, because this was carried out by our institutional partners and had to be carried out just once. Of course, I cannot show you now all the paragraphs, the results, the data in this 1 hour what I have, but I will show you some examples that you will get a feeling of the complete document. which you can find afterwards on the website, which I showed you before. And the first question, how do you include GPP criteria in tender documents? We ask, of course, public authorities. And as you see, the most answers was by myself. The second largest was with the help of other department experts, then with the help of external advisor, and some of them answered other. As you see, I think only Cyprus and Spain have the answers with the help of other departments higher than the answer by themselves. The second example, what type of green energy efficient requirement do you usually use? And we see that in most cases, this is national developed criteria, especially in Slovenia and Latvia. The second largest answer was the environment technical standard, and the third, requirements for environmental management system, especially in Spain. We find on the end also similar answers as we see in this example. The question was, in which stage of the procurement process do you usually include the green criteria? And you see that the most answers are in technical specifications. About the question, what kind of support for the GPP implementation would you need in the future? A very important question for us, for the project, for the consortium. We see that the most answers are information on market availability, so a market question, for evaluation of life cycle costing, and professional GPP training seminars. We had also a question like this during the GPP procurement process: how often are you using life cycle costing? And we see that the most answers were sometimes or seldom. So it's not a good example. Also, we ask, for which energy efficient product did you prepare GPP training in the last 3 years? And the most answers were electricity, office IT equipment, street lighting, and transport vehicles. The second questionnaire related to the national partner, and just one per each country, of course. We see here the questionnaire related to national support activities, and we see on the end our expected results. The most support they have in Germany, Sweden and Spain, and the last, unfortunately, in Slovenia. But we're trying to change this now. The next deliverable is the largest, of course, the expanded list of good and bad practices. Why the largest? You see here, it's also split in 2 parts. The first to the public procurers, and then the national partners, and even more split to each country. So afterwards, after my presentation, you can pick your own country and see the results detailedly. The content by the countries, the main part is split to the awareness about national policy framework for GPP, the information about organizations' activities, the GPP implementation, and the graphical presentation. And the last one I'm going to show you. So as I said, the results in this document is split to each country partner, and I had to choose one, and I decided for Slovenia. And the question between 1 and 5 are about awareness about national policy framework for GPP. And you see that in Slovenia, close to all of respondents confirmed that they are informed about the national GPP policy or political agreement for the uptake of GPP in their country. There is also high awareness of respondents about the national GPP targets, and quite high is familiar with priority GPP products, services, and works that are defined. Less than a half or exactly 42% are aware about the statistic reporting on GPP in Slovenia. The questions 6 to 12 are related to information about the organization's activities, and we see that in Slovenia only 8% of respondents declare that their organization have a GPP strategy or action plan on GPP in place, which is a very weak number. The managerial support experiences 45% of respondents, while our share of political support is much higher, 67%. Any kind of market engagement activities are practicing only 1/3 of respective organizations. Training seminars on GPP attended quite high number, 75% of respondents. More than a half of procurers includes GPP criteria in tender documents by themselves, while 1/5 are asking help from other departments' experts, and 70% are looking for external advice in the preparation of GPP tender document. We also asked for the estimation of the GPP in the total number of organizations procurement. Results show that only 1/4 or 25% can propose such figure, which range between 10 and 20%. The questions between 13 and 80 are related to the implementation of green public procurements. And we ask, what type of green or energy efficient requirements do respondents usually use in tenders? And we see that the highest number of procurers state that these are national developed criteria based on the EU GPP criteria, the environment and technical standards. And where do they include criteria? The second question. Most often this is in Slovenia, I mean, the technical specification and when defining the subject matter of the contract. In the last 3 years, most frequently they prepared GPP contract for the following energy efficient products. Of course, like I said before, related to energy. Transport, electricity, office IT equipment, and construction. During the procurement process, they are often monitoring contract compliance and execution, focus on performance, but not asking lots for leasing possibilities. The questions related to the difficulties were in form of open questions, where the procurers can listen up to 5 answers. And Slovenia, the main difficulties for procurers in the implementation stage of GPP seems to be lack of knowledge, insufficient offers, price, and complexity of preparation of criteria. But you will have to see that also in other countries, they have the similar problems. Most respondents want to have the following support in the future for the GPP implementation. Information on market availability of products, professional technical support, which source of GPP criteria to use, and professional GPP training seminars. Here I want to mention that in the frame of GreenS project, we're implementing also trainings for public procurers, like mentioned by Filippo, and the content of this training must be related to most of these results of the questionnaires, of course related to the answers by each country. And on the last slide regarding the questionnaires for public procurers, we see the structure of the respondents in Slovenia. We don't have regional political authority, so this share is, like you see, on the right side, 0. We had the most local authorities, so municipalities, and 25% of central authorities, like for example, Ministry of Agriculture, and 25% of public or semi-public authorities or organizations, for example, like hospital. We switched already to the questionnaire 2 for national partners, which was carried out once, like I said, and we see that we identified 2 weak spots in the country. This is the promotion of potential benefits of GPP and the use of life cycle costing. We had a table with 24 listen up support activities that recognizably facilitate the GPP implementation. And we see that in Slovenia are only 5 these listen up activities active, and this is legal support from responsible authority, training events, website establishment, tender models, and CO2 energy saving calculators. Interesting was also this table, which were carried out by each partner in each country. It's about the statistical portal for public procurement. Does it exist? We asked also for the number of all procurements, the percentage of GPP purchase, the value of procurement, the percentage of countries GPP uptake, and the year of last statistical data. And as you see, we can compare then afterwards the share, the percentages between the countries. But overall, in Slovenia, for example, the support activities in Slovenia is low, and we are trying this to change, of course. And now to the most important document, the comparative analysis. In this previous document, we saw the results presented by countries. And in this document, we will see the common results of the consortium in 8 included countries, which we can easily see as a common result in EU, in European Union. This is the content, but in general, when drawing up a tender in public procurement from the public procurers, it is hard to talk about bad practices because the process is highly demanding and follows strict legal procurement requirements. I hope you all agree with that. Therefore, we have looked here at the data collection mainly on good practices, some of which are of very good and some of basic, of weaker performance. However, GPP implementation is not only about preparing the green tender documents, but also concretize them with many other support activities: political, managerial, information exchange, promotion, training, assistance, help, etc. And the main part of this document is split to 4 bigger parts. This is national policy framework for GPP, institutional support activities for GPP, organizations activities, and GPP implementation. And when we look at these are now the common and the common results. And when we look the national policy framework for GPP, and we look ask about weakest and strongest elements, we see that the worst elements of the presented arguments is the absence of the promotion and use of life cycle costing among public procurers. There are 2 other weaker elements, and these are, as you see, knowledge about the existence of monitoring and the statistical reporting for GPP tenders and contracts. Basically, only 2 countries could report about the percentage of the GPP uptake in 2014. And the second weaker point is the lack of any mandatory provision on GPP uptake. When we look at the institutional support activities, what makes GPP implementation exactly easier? Obviously, the following items can be categorized as good practices. The existence of clear guidance and tool for the GPP, the implementation of pilot GPP project, and legal support from responsible authorities. Regular GPP networking and exchange events, regular trainings, GPP website, and CO2 calculators are also among relatively strong support activities. But what are now the bad performing elements? These are the absence of real assessment of needs for procurement in organizations, the absence of market analysis for priority products, and also the absence of green tender database. Weaker spots are no cost benefits analysis of GPP, technical support, help desk for procurers, help desk for suppliers, regular newsletters, and specialized publications about GPP, GPP webinars, and platform for exchange of best practices. We are looking about the improvement of GPP uptake. So, according to the national partners, how could the GPP uptake in the countries be improved? The answers were also here in the form of open questions, and the respondents suggested several possibilities, but mostly with regard to enhanced support to public procurers, more reliable information about GPP, and greater legal clarity, and more training, of course. GPP at the organization level, awareness of public procurers about GPP. Also, in this question, we also searched for the information on awareness of the public procurers of the existing national policy on GPP and on the level of support that they get within their organizations, of course. And we see that without although they are very well informed about the existence of national GPP policy or political agreements for the uptake of GPP, and they are quite well aware of the national targets for the GPP and priority GPP products. This leads to the possible assumption of good practice. When public procurers are more familiar with the existence of a national policy, the implementation of GPP could be more feasible. At least two weaker points should be mentioned here. Not many organizations have a GPP policy, GPP strategy in place, and market engagement activities in their organization, as well as is the awareness of statistical reporting on GPP quite weak. Are public procurers aware of the existing support activities, and do they use them, was the question. They are quite aware of their existence, but the majority of them only use created websites with GPP content. When we look at the sources of the green criteria used, they are mostly national developed criteria, based mainly on the EU GPP criteria, which is good because it's then a common criteria, and environmental technical standards or criteria from eco-labels. They are not likely to be familiar with the green criteria from other countries or with provisions set out in different EU sectors legislation that may be used as a source of GPP criteria. By far the most common inclusion of green energy efficient requirements within the procurement stages are the technical specification. The same case was also just in Slovenia. Very often the respondents defined requirements for the tender's technical and professional ability, as well as in the definition of the subject matter of the country. Although the matter should be always set as it clearly indicates the main intention of the procurement at the very beginning of the procurement process. Much less used are the award criteria as a very useful and supportive tool for searching the best green product in the market, and the contract performance clauses that can be defined additional requirements for construction. Very few respondents have chosen the provision to include green related requirements in all stages of GPP process when preparing green tenders. A very interesting point or question was the need for the additional support. And in the future, public procurers would mostly need the following support for the GPP implementation. Information about market availability of products, information on which sources of GPP criteria to use, how to evaluate life cycle costing, professional GPP training seminars, and professional technical support in preparation of GPP tender documents. There's the least need for running pilot projects on GPP and for establishing GPP online forums. But however, it is very interesting to see that the respondents expressed a relatively low need to understand the environment aspect of the purchase and to obtain information on the potential benefits of GPP, which is of course positive. About the innovation approaches in GPP process, the answers to the question about how often do public procurers look for innovative solutions during the GPP tender process revealed that they are most often focusing on performance, functional specification, and on monitoring of compliance and execution of the contracts. On the other hand, they very rarely ask for leasing possibilities, decide for pre-commercial procurements, or use of life cycle costing tools, which is bad, of course. About the energy efficient projects purchased, in the last 3 years, the respondents most frequently purchased the following energy efficient products, services, works. As you see, transport vehicles, office IT equipment, electricity, construction, and outdoor and indoor lighting. Only few of them purchased water-based heaters or electrical and electronic equipment used in the healthcare sector. Main difficulties. According to the procurers, the main difficulties regarding the implementation of GPP are those related to the GPP criteria, such as how to form the right ones and to the knowledge skills of the procurers in this field. The other set of difficulties includes all those regarding any kind of support and information about the GPP. The third, robust cluster represent insufficient market readiness. For example, it was the same case also in Slovenia, not an offer of green products on the market or higher price for green products. They are interesting answers about the limitation of organizations' budget and about the competency of the suppliers. And what are, on the end, the common conclusions? What are the bad exactly and what are the good examples? The surveys and the comparisons show that many GPP practices are commonly applied to various categories of GPP implementation by public procurers and administration. On the other hand, the application of at least some categories still remains limited. Therefore, some of these categories could be listed among the good, while others, of course, listed up as a bad GPP practices. But what are exactly now the good practices first on the national level? When we listen to the national partners, we see 3 weak points. These are 3 strong points, sorry. This is the adopted national action plan on GPP, reached political agreement on GPP implementation in the country, and assigned responsibilities for GPP at the national level. Secondly, among various institutional support activities in GreenS countries, we see 3 good practices: clear guidance and tools for GPP, implementation of GPP pilot projects, and legal support from the responsible authorities. And 3, information on the national GPP policy or political agreement or GPP uptake are identified quite high among public procurers. This was on the national level, but what about the organizations level? We have 2 good points. One is a good example is clearly the cooperation of public procurers with other experts within the organization when preparing GPP tender documents. And secondly, the preparation of public procurers at GPP training seminars is quite important. And thirdly, on the implementation level, which are the good practices? We have here 4 points. Firstly, the most common source for GPP criteria are national developed criteria, which are mainly based on the EU GPP criteria, which is a good sign. Secondly, according to the results, public procurers most often include green energy-related criteria in the technical specifications. 3, The most frequently purchased products in the last 3 years are vehicles, office IT equipment, electricity, building, and indoor and outdoor lighting. And 4, during the GPP process, procurers most often focus on performance, functional specification, and on monitoring contract compliance and execution. But what are now the bad practices? On the national level, we see here three weak points. Firstly, the significant lack of promotion and use of life cycle costing in these countries. Substantial absence of real needs assessment for procurers in organizations, and the lack of market analysis for priority products, services, works. And which are the bad practices on the organizations level? Also here we have 3 most important points. The organizations rarely adopt GPP policies in the strategies. Organizations do not undertake much market engagement activities, and procurers find it difficult to decide on the share of GPP in the total number of procurements within their organizations. And last one, the bad practice in GPP implementation level. We have here 2 points. The first is the use of award criteria, and the second is based on the results, decisions for pre-commercial procurements are rare among procurers. Additionally, to this information, to this deliverable, to this document, you will find on the website also the matrix Excel table where we defined the evaluation of the questionnaires. So happy to show you. Additionally to all these documents, you will also find on the web page a document which presenting our first international roundtable, which was carried out in Maribor, where the aim of this meeting was to talk about some crucial questions related to data collection and to evaluate the preliminary results of the questionnaire. But I don't want to go now here deeper. The last document is related to the summary report on the needs of public procurers. And what is the background of this document? The fact is that public authorities spend approximately 2 trillion euros in a year, and part of this budget should be also available in sustainable energy action plans of each covenant of mayors municipality. And because of these numbers, we wanted to know how the green public procurement is currently integrated into the SEAP preparation process, but even more important, we wanted to make identification and analysis of municipalities' future needs to the SEAP preparation and implementation process. If we see now the task of the work in this work package, we see some logical continuation. First, we had the national policy framework for GPP, then the institutional support activities, then the organizations activities, the GPP implementation, and now on the end, the needs of public authorities through the SEAPs. And also, for this work, we prepared an online questionnaire called Q3, and we put it online. Here you see the content of this document. In part is split to the general data about the SEAPs, because we ask here public authorities. The second is the integration process of the GPP into the Sustainable Energy Action Plan, the implementation of GPP, and on the end, the needs. Our target for the project was to reach 105 public authorities, mostly municipalities, cities, and we reached 108 in 7 countries. And here you see quickly these municipalities, cities, which were included in the questionnaire. The respondents were mostly, as I said, municipalities, and through them we indirectly reached quite high number of people. In total, 3.5 million people. It's just information. I will show you some of the results also from this last document, and the first is related to the Covenant of Mayors initiative and the inclusion of each. See that only one municipality from all in the involved municipality from total 108 is not part of the Covenant of Mayors initiative yet. From the included countries and the municipalities, Cyprus and Sweden has the most ambitious goals regarding CO2 reduction. The other countries have, in average, from 20 till 25% reduction. I want to just mention that the average reduction target till 2020 from the Covenant of Mayors is 28. And of course, a new target is set for 2030. This is 40% of reduction. The next question is focusing on the CO2 reduction per capita. As we see, the highest value has in average the 15 municipalities from Slovenia, 3.7 tons per capita, but also because of the lower number of population in general, followed by Cyprus and Sweden. In this section called integration process of GPP into the CEOP, we want to know how the GPP is currently integrated into the CEOP preparation process. Although we recorded some results based on these questionnaires, of course, but a lot of municipalities, for example, in Bulgaria and in Sweden, are active in green planning activities, but they are mostly not included in their CEOPs. So, the most municipalities, as I said, based on our questionnaires, have not included any kind of GPP expert person in the CEOP preparation process. The only exception is Cyprus, based on the questionnaires, where all the 16 asked municipalities had some kind of GPP expert included. Related also to the previous question, municipalities have in general no GPP expert in its administration structure. Only in Latvia, Slovenia, Spain, and Sweden, we recorded one municipality out of, in average, 15. Although they do not have an internal GPP expert, but they have directly involved person in work on GPP administration structure of the municipality, especially in Cyprus and in Italy. During the CEOP preparation process, the most municipalities in Cyprus and Sweden, they include GPP as one of the measures of CEOP. In other countries, just in few examples or even not at all. The logical continuation of the question is that the most municipalities in the countries have no GPP action plan on the local level. Only in case of Sweden, the most municipalities include some kind of action plans regarding GPP. The total value of GPP procurement now from CEOPs in these 108 municipalities from 7 countries more than 13 million euros, but as you see in a few previous answers, Cyprus has in all 15 municipalities implemented some kind of GPP action based on action set up in the CEOPs, of course. In section GPP implementation, we wanted to know how the green public procurement is currently integrated into the CEOP implementation process. Based on the results in section B, called integration process of GPP into the CEOP, the logical continuation of the results has followed also in section C, called GPP implementation, of course. But as a result of additional interviews, a lot of municipalities, for example, as I said before, Bulgaria, Sweden, are active in such kind of green activities, but they're not calling it GPP, and it's not included in the CEOPs. So in the last section, needs, we wanted to make identification of municipalities' future needs through the CEOP preparation and implementation process. The questions related to implementation were in form of open questions, and the questions related to needs in form of numbers by level of importance for each question, as you see one example on your on the slide. And the common results you will see on the next slide. Common and most important conclusion of this document, this last document, is that, based, of course, once more on our answers, that the GPP is very poorly incorporated into the preparation and implementation process of the sustainable action plans of the public procurers. Although this tool can help public procurers to significantly contribute to the realization of their objective in line with CEOP. So in my case, it makes sense to coordinate these two tools, which are identical in their objective at the level of commitment, of course. These results, these answers, forced us to look once more to the CEOP guidelines. And although we have a new guideline and the green public procurement, as is mentioned, part of one chapter as one of the good examples, but we think that it makes sense to define more strictly the importance of implementation of GPP in the preparation and implementation process of the CEOPs. And based on this, as an added value of our project, we prepared some recommendations to the guidelines for improvement of the CEOPs in the future. So, and now, exactly, we are in the process of sending this preparing and sending this recommendation to the Covenant of Mayor's office. So this was my presentation. As I said, you can ask questions afterwards, and I will be happy to answer them. Thank you. And I will give the floor to Mr. Savas Vlahos.
Thank you, Stefan. Savas, are you there?
Yes, hello everyone. This is Savas Vlahos from the Cyprus Energy Agency. Today I will share the microphone with Natalia from the Department of Environment.
Hello everybody.
And thank you, Filippo, and thank you, Stefan, for the introduction to the project and to the first results. And today we will present you the current status of Cyprus, what experience we had, and what difficulties we are facing for the implementation of GPP strategy in Cyprus. And I will give the floor to Natalia for an introduction to the first part of the presentation, and then I will follow with mine. The presentation is now loading. I hope all of you can see the slides. Yes?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello everybody. As I was mentioned, my name is Natalia Georgiou. I'm from the Department of Environment of the Ministry of Agriculture and the Environment in Cyprus. Here's my presentation. As mentioned, the GPP have less impact on public health, natural resources and environment. In Cyprus, we have prepared our own national action plan for GPP. The first action plan was approved by the Cabinet of the Ministers in March 2007, and the second one in January 2012. In our action plan, includes strategic targets and actions that aim to change the consumer model by adopting policies for sustainable production and consumption, creating a green market. And since 2008, the Commission has developed more than 20 common GPP criteria, the GPP toolkit. There are two types of categories, core criteria and comprehensive criteria. The Department of Environment included GPP toolkit criteria in its GPP National Action Plan in 2012. Through this action plan, a national commission for GPP established and consists of Department of Environment, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Defense, the Treasury, the Department of Government Purchasing and Supply, Department of Public Works, Department of Electrical and Mechanical Services, the Department of Information Technology Services, and the Government Printing Office. Who is required to implement this action plan? It's the state authorities, the public sector authorities, public law principles like public law organization and local authorities. As you can see, the last two have the choice either to adopt the National Action Plan, either to create their own GPP action plan. The implementation of the National GPP action plan is mandatory for the above, since it has been approved by the Cabinet of Ministers. Our action plan includes 4 annexes. Annex A summarizes the categories of products and implementing measure, the targets. Annex B refers to environmental implementation and management. Annex C lists the criteria, the GPP tool criteria, core and comprehensive. And in Annex D contains the list of authorities and organizations. GPP objectives. At EU level, the European Commission set an indicative target that by 2010, 50% of all public tendering procedure should be green, and where green means compliant with endorsed common core in GPP criteria. So our national objective, the goal for each product category is separately stated in Annex A. Generally, the target of 50% has been adopted in our GPP action plan. The National Action Plan is directly linked to the National Action Plan for Renewable Energy 2010-2020 of the Ministry of Energy, Commerce, Industry and Tourism in Cyprus. These are some benefits from GPP. As all we know, we have energy savings for reduction of packaging and waste, recycling, promoting organic products, improving the public image of authorities, developing new technologies, encouraging industries for produce green products, and save money, and some more. These are the product categories and the groups that are in our GPP National Action Plan. And some picture of our events. The first Cyprus GPP Awards. The ceremony was held in Nicosia in September 2014 by the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment. The awards were organized by the Department of Environment and the Cyprus Energy Agency in cooperation with Treasury of the Public Procurement Authority within the scope of the Buy Smart Plus project. CYGPP awards initially are targeted towards contracting authorities and entities including the state authorities, public sector, public bodies and local authorities. We had 5 categories: office IT equipment and household electric appliances, lighting, vehicles, air conditioners, building construction. There were 10 awards were given totally, 3 for GPP policy and 7 for the 5 categories. these are the 3 awards for the policy category. The first awarded to Cyprus University of Technology, the second to Agios Athanasios Municipality, and the third to Electricity Authority of Cyprus. And for the categories, for the category of office IT equipment, the award was to Cyprus University of Technology and Water Board of Larnaca. For lighting, the Department of Labor Inspection, Vehicle Cyprus Technology Telecommunications Authority. For air conditioners, Electromechanical Service and Cyprus University of Technology. And the last, building constructions, for the Government Printing Office. In 2015, we had the second ceremony for CYGPP Awards in December. We had the same 5 categories. A total of 15 awards were given, 4 for GPP policies, 7 for 5 categories, and 2 distinctions for general policies and 2 distinctions for vehicles category. Here are the awards for the GPP policy. The first award goes to Water Board of Nicosia, the second to Electromechanical Service, and the third to Cyprus Agricultural Payment Organization and to Kokino, a cooperative credit society. And 2 honorary distinctions for GPP policy to Drains Board of Limassol and Water Board of Larnaca. The 5 categories. The first for office IT equipment awarded to Water Board of Nicosia, for lighting to Cooperative Credit Society, the vehicle to Cyprus Police, for air conditioners to Cyprus University of Technology, and for building constructor to 3 organizations, departments, Public Works Department and Electromechanical Service, and 2 pharmaceutical services. In addition to GPP awards, another one Cyprus product was awarded that day with the EU Eco-label in the category of all-purpose cleaners, extending the EU Eco-label family in Cyprus and Europe. During the ceremony, companies and organizations who applied for the first time with EMAS were awarded with a certification and board, contributing in their turn to the effort to protect the environment and giving a good example to follow. The Department of Environment, which is the competent body for EMAS in Cyprus, has been awarded with the EU EMAS at its headquarters in Nicosia. Also, 2 private companies were awarded. GPP awards have been included in the annual program of the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment, and in the future it will be extended to more categories, including in GPP National Action Plan. For 2016, 3rd GPP Awards will join the Italian GPP Awards Cobra Verde in 13th of October. This is about Eco-label and EMAS in Cyprus. Up to date, Cyprus has awarded the Eco-label to one accommodation, 5 cleaning products and 20 products in category paints and varnishes. And also for the EMAS register, there are 76 organization companies that have been recorded, 2 public organizations, the Lieutenant General Kalburgi Army Camp and the Department of Environment. For 2016, the funding scheme has been published and the deadline for application is November 25. These are some useful links, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Natalia. This is Savas again, and I will share my presentation. So, first of all, an introduction to the Cyprus Energy Agency and to myself. The Cyprus Energy Agency is a non-profit, non-governmental organization in Cyprus. Has 4 major objectives. The one is the promotion of energy efficiency, the promotion of renewable energy sources, sustainable transport, and local sustainable energy action planning for the local authorities of Cyprus. Along with Natalia and the Department of Environment, we are both partners representing Cyprus in the GreenS project. And as regards myself, I'm expert on energy efficiency and renewable energy sources, and received recently training on GPP, so we can support our procurers in Cyprus to develop and successfully implement green public procurement. I will use some of the slides presented earlier by Stefan, just to speak more specific about Cyprus and the current situation. As you can see, from the list of different national support activities recorded, in Cyprus, for the moment, we have almost half of them. And in comparison with other countries more advanced like Germany and Sweden, we need to succeed in the same way for other categories and not just the one that we have today. And regarding our weaknesses in Cyprus, even if Natalia said that there are some mandatory provisions on GPP, we see from the real practice that not all the procurers use the mandatory provisions for the GPP criteria, and this is something that we want and we need to change. Also, we are lag behind in the promotion of life cycle costing for our procurements, and also a system that can monitoring and report all the relevant activities on GPP in order to use the good practices and avoid the bad practices. And yeah, we have asked our procurers what they think that they are our weaknesses. They believe that they don't have expertise within the administrations, so in many cases they are seeking for experts outside the organizations. They are not aware about the market, the new products, and they don't have an update view on what is existing in the market. They are seeking for more support and also for more information. And as Stefan presented earlier, the majority of the procurers, they use green criteria mainly for technical specifications. And you can see that in their work criteria, only few procurers have used green criteria for awarding purposes. And mainly what we have seen the last 3 years is purchases for indoor lighting and office IT equipment. So once again, we ask the procurers what kind of support they need from us in Cyprus in order to better implement the GPP. So they ask for market information, also for GPP criteria to use, and professional training. Those three are the most popular answers, but also they ask for other supporting tools. So thanks to GreenS, both organizations, the Ministry of Environment, which is a competent authority in Cyprus for green procurement, and the Cyprus Energy Agency, which is now the supporter of GPP in Cyprus, we will work together, and we will try to fill the gap of supporting initiatives that are missing in Cyprus. So we plan to provide capacity building and training. We have already conducted the advisory committee on GPP, which is helping us on many issues. We have now available GPP templates for specific product categories that they can use. And also we will allocate a specific site on our website for GPP where all the procurers will be able to find the information, templates, research on market availability and other things. But also the website of the GreenS project is now progressing and well advanced. Also, an info point for GPP, the GPP awards that were, I consider that is one of our good practices to have different kind of public administrations competing each other's for the award is something good that we are seeing happening now in Cyprus. But also the most ambitious and is to have some pilot projects. So I move to the next slide, and I can briefly say that we have now a procurement that is awarded for the mountainous villages of Alon and Polystipos in Cyprus to become 100% LED lighting for the public places and the street lighting. This will be completed by December this year, so I hope our Cypriot participants and also participants from abroad that you will come in Cyprus later in December to have the opportunity to see this our first pilot. And also we have an agreement with the Treasury of Cyprus to work on the development of GPP criteria for a framework agreement for the purchase of vehicles. So this is one very important achievement if we manage to succeed. And also we will provide support for pilot projects under the category either heating or cooling or computer IT appliances. So yeah, we have achieved some results in Cyprus, but we want to do more. And one of the things that we need to change is to change the way of thinking of our public procurements and introduce the life cycle costing as one of the principal initiatives for successful GPP implementation. That's all from my side. You can see here my contact details, but also you can raise your questions by the end of the webinar today.
Okay, thank you, Savas. Thank you for your precious contribution and presentation. Now I would give the floor, I would give the microphone to Mrs. Yana Simanovska. Is it right, the pronunciation?
Yes.
Okay. From Latvian Environmental Investment Fund. She's a project expert and she will discuss about biomass and building renovation GPP in Latvia as a good example, as a good practice in Latvia. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for invitation to participate in your webinar and present the experience we have from the Latvian Environmental Investment Fund and from the project Primes. And firstly, I will a little bit say about the project Primes, and then I will later go in these two examples what we have done. So the project Primes was also a European project. It took duration is 36 months, and actually many things we do are a little bit also comparable what you are planning to do, but I think the green procurement is very huge area, and there is a lot to work, and there are many innovations needed and necessary. So therefore, I think it's very good that the projects can cooperate and also build up experience. And important task what we have done was also development of training material and also practical support for green procurements. And that meant that project experts helped local procurers to carry out green tenders. And based on that, we also are making case studies, and also that will be later published on the project website. So we are also invited to visit that. And further on, our practical experience from 2 case studies what we have done in Latvia. Okay, and the first case were pellets. And actually, I would also like to say thanks to Stefan for the presentation. We have seen that many conclusions you have made are also we can see common things in our experience. And also when we started the project, there was very little experience in Latvia, and during these 2 years, there has been very big work also done by Latvian Ministry of Environment and Regional Development, and we see how important the Latvian national strategy of green procurement has been in implementation real practical tenders and cases. And with regard to pellets, unfortunately, there are no EU common criteria for green pellets, and we often think that biomass is green, but actually not all biomass, and biomass is not always green. The question is how the biomass has been cultivated, because it is important that biomass is coming from sustainable managed forests. The next question is about fossil fuel use for production of biomass, which means that also production of pellets includes carbon footprint, and we need to avoid that actually the fossil fuel used for production of biomass is already expanding the good performance of the pellets. And the question is also quality of biomass. This is also very important for the burning equipment. And the next question is about impacts caused by transportation of biomass, which means that also transport is emitting carbon dioxide, and also the question is road infrastructure. And these were also the basic considerations we took into account when elaborating the green tender. And actually the municipality who has implemented this tender was Valka, and you see the sentence from the Valka mayor that they thought that it's right to start with pellets since they are produced in Latvia. This was real cooperation among project team and Valka municipality, and I also need to say that this approach that project experts are supporting the procurers to develop tender is very good one, since there is a lot of knowledge in procurers themselves how to make tenders. And with this cooperation, when you give information about green requirements and green criteria, helps really to develop better tenders. and they chose this most economically advantageous tender. And in technical specification, it was required as that the pellets are complied with N+ standard or similar requirements, because N+ standard, which is developed by European Biomass Association, it covers sustainability, so the biomass must come from sustainable managed forests. Also, there are high requirements for pellets quality, and also this includes carbon footprint. So it also looks how much fuel is used for production of biomass. And in the award criteria also the green requirements were in. And you can see that the price was 70%, ash content was 15%, distance to production place was 10%. So the most advantageous offer was that who could have the smallest distance for transportation, and also calorific value. So how much energy your ton of pellets is giving was also important criteria. And finally participated 4 bidders, and actually the best price also offered the lowest ash content and second best calorific value. So we really saw that actually it was also surprised by the municipality that the greenest offer is not always the most expensive offer. And the results of this tender was that actually the costs were 3% lower than previous tender costs, which was also a surprise for municipality. And we can also see that with that we can save 280 tons carbon dioxide annually. So taking into account that the forest is sequestrating carbon dioxide, and if you manage forest in sustainable way, then you can see that it goes to benefit to environment and reduces this climate emissions. And the next green procurement case was renovation of an old building. And actually old buildings are usually also energy inefficient buildings, and they have very large carbon footprint. The next question is indoor air quality of buildings, which is very much also related with improving energy efficiency. If you do not take into account what happens with indoor air quality, it can lead to quite bad quality. And also the next question is environmental impacts caused by production of building materials, and also importance of design phase. And here you can see the expression from procurer from city Liepāja, who was developing this tender together with us, and she stressed that anything what you are not including during project design phase, so that means during you develop technical specifications for a renovation project, will also not appear during construction. So in case of construction, it's very important that you start with green procurement already when you just purchase architectural services. And also that was most economically advantageous offer. And technical specification include questions, clear requirements, how much energy you need per square meter per heating. It also required energy efficient lighting. It was also there were requirements about indoor air quality, and also asked preferring environmentally friendly materials, and the wood also must come from sustainable forestry, and monitoring options for heat, water, and energy consumption. But also in award criteria, there were green criteria asking the Liepāja municipality decided to ask 10 bidders to show how they will integrate sustainable building principles in their offer. And also in selection criteria, there were requirements that the bidders must have experience in renovation or reconstruction. And actually, I need to say that this is one criteria you could easily fail, because if you start very innovative things, especially if innovative things in your country, you need to have really overview on market offers, on possibilities of the market. And if you ask for market which has, for example, no experience or very little experience in sustainable building, and if you ask for bidders very big experience here, you can fail, because nobody will be able really deliver this experience. And so this also shows how important the market consultation prior to tender is. And we included also green experience in contract performance clauses. Also, there was fine if architect is not achieving promised results. And actually, what we see with the results is that this is since construction projects are quite expensive projects, and it is very long process. And actually, Liepāja municipality started with negotiation procedure, but then they saw that the cost of the tender, the price will be higher, and you need to have open tender. There were 6 bidders, and actually, if they will succeed, the potential savings on CO2 emissions could be quite high. And also, you can see that depending on what really is the architect, which project it will develop, you can see quite high energy savings. And yes, and based on, and you can also see later the practical cases when you come to web page of Project Primes, and also of web page on Latvian Environmental Investment Fund. And also what I can tell from my experience is that this development of practical cases and later sharing the experience, they are very good ways how you can really promote green procurement and how you can identify what are the problems and what are the ways. And also I would like to stress the importance of market consultations, because, for example, to develop the green criteria for pellets, we had a meeting with among potential suppliers and Latvian Biomass Association, and actually it was also very helpful to understand what really market can offer and what are possibilities, and how strong requirements we can add. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jana. Now we have time for questions. For any question you would like to address us. So please let us know if you have any question regarding the presentation, regarding the presentations, regarding the project, activities, outputs, and whatever it is. Hello?
Yeah, hello, Filippo.
Yes, Stefan.
I see that in the chat chapter, there is a lot of asking about the presentations.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a question for Evita. She can arrange to send somehow the presentation, or how is it? From my case, it's no problem. So.
Yes, of course. I think we will forward all the presentation to participants. And actually, I think there will be all the presentation also in GreenS project website. And I don't know about as we have recorded this event, I don't know about the later to hear also and see because of the bytes and megabytes, how big will be this recording. So, but yes, we will definitely provide all the presentation to the participants.
Okay. Which questions do you mean in the chat, Stefan?
There is now only one question. Could we have the presentation on an email after the webinar?
Okay. Yeah, I can say that, but I thought that there were other questions.
No.
At the moment, no other questions arise.
So everything is clear. Great.
So I don't know. We also gave the auditors our emails. So if they have any other questions, they can also contact us by email and ask us whatever they prefer. If they want to ask, so for me it's okay. By my side, we can close the seminar. What about you?
Yes, I agree. If nobody has a question, so thank you to all for the participation.
Okay.
I just wanted to add that this was the first GreenS international webinar. We will have further on 5. So you all are invited to join for the next time also.
Okay.